Hey guys, welcome to 3 and Out. You can check out the podcast below in the description. And here's what I need you to do. Make sure you subscribe to the Volumes YouTube channel to stay up to date to everything we're doing here on 3 and Out and the Volume. Really quick on Amari, traded from the Cowboys to the Browns. I think it showed you pretty simple. One, it's loaded wide receiver class in the draft. Like, I can get a wide receiver in the second round and pay him $2 million. Right? Amari cost $20 million. There weren't that many teams willing to pay him $20 million next season. Ultimately, it cost the Browns a 5th-round pick, which, let's be honest, isn't anything. If I'm trading a 5th-round pick for you as a player, it's nothing. But the reason it was so low was because of his contract. And the Browns are willing to just take him, whether it's 1 year, because ultimately if Amari Cooper was cut, one, they might not be able to sign him, and if they did, it would cost more than $20 million. So can you just basically throw away a 5th-round pick to get Amari Cooper when you're just willing to pay him the 1 year, and then just take it from there? The Cowboys need the space because they signed Zeke Elliott. And when Zeke's contract is still on the books, like, it's hard to shake that. If they could do that one over, they would like a do-over. But the reason he was traded for so little is because the position he plays and his value, he's a $14, $15 million, still good. Like, I would take Amari on my team, but not at that number. Like Khalil Mack, the reason he was traded for a 2nd-round pick, because a lot of teams would have traded high picks for him, even with his $17 million salary next year. And even the risk coming off an injury. He's a pass rusher. Where do I find pass rushers who are that good? Right? Clearly, other teams in the later, like the playoff level teams, would have traded. You don't think the Chiefs would have figured that out? It'd be like, cap space, cut people. Cap space means nothing right now. It is a completely fake number. What they say in Donnie Brasco, it's a fugazi. It's just fake. It doesn't mean anything. If I want to change it, I can change it the snap of my fingers. So all these teams that made the playoffs, the Chiefs, the Niners, they would have been sniffing around on Khalil Mack. But the Chargers, because they missed, like I said last week, great move. The other thing that, Kirk Cousins, he gets extended. Everyone, listen, I don't think Kirk Cousins is Josh Allen here. Lamar Jackson, Justin Herbert. I would not want Kirk Cousins to be the quarterback of my team. But when Kirk Cousins is the quarterback of your team, and you're not drafting like in the top 5 to get another quarterback, obviously this is not a quarterback draft, but just ever. Because when Kirk Cousins is the quarterback of your team, if your defense is a joke, as the Vikings were this year, they still went 7-10. And they were right in the mix. Maybe they went 8-9. Right in the mix to make the playoffs till like the last week of the season, or second to last week of the season. Kirk Cousins is talked about on social media. I saw someone write like, the all-time guys that stole money from the NFL. It was like Sam Bradford, Chase Daniel, Taysom Hill, Kirk Cousins. Do you guys know that Kirk Cousins, since he's been in Minnesota, 4 years, he obviously played for Washington for several years before that. Just the 4 years he's been in Minnesota, he's thrown more touchdowns in Sam Bradford's career. You can include Chase Daniel's 8 as well as Taysom Hill's couple touchdowns. Kirk Cousins is a productive player. 124 touchdowns since he's been there. You could do a lot worse. And part of the reason, what else can you do if you're Minnesota? You are stuck with Kirk Cousins. And he's not the least of your worries right now. Right? You need to fix the defense. If Kirk Cousins is your starting quarterback on offense, you've proven you can go to the playoffs. Saw it a couple years ago. You beat the Saints. I watched it. You beat the Saints, and then you played the Niners, and your team just wasn't good enough. But he's good enough to be your starting quarterback and get you to the playoffs, especially in this NFC. Has he made $180 million? Does it sound crazy when I say it out loud? Yes. But not all contracts are equal. Russell Westbrook this year, legally stealing. If Russell Westbrook, you said, what's he worth? He's worth like $3 million. He's making $44 million. At $35 million for Kirk Cousins, if you're going to throw me 33 to 35 touchdowns a year, like, that's good value. Not all contracts are bad money. Like, ultimately, I don't love Dak Prescott at 40, but, like, if you were paying him 32, I wouldn't hate it. Now, I know Cousins is making 40 this year, and obviously money changes, but I think he's talked about like he's some bottom 5 quarterback. No, he's just not a top 10 quarterback. He's somewhere between 10 and 15. And if you do a good enough job building your team, you can make the playoffs with him. You could do a lot worse. And you literally can't replace it. Like, what is Indy going to do? Jimmy Garoppolo? Jimmy Garoppolo has a bad shoulder. What are the Steelers going to do? Like, what the fuck are the New York Giants going to do? Once Daniel Jones proves to everyone he still stinks. Like, you don't have any options. Because do you know how hard it was? Do you know the only reason the Niners were able to get to 3? One, they had a disastrous year. They went 6-10. And then they traded 3 first-round picks to go from 12 to 3. That's what it took. They didn't get to 1 or 2. They got to 3. So when you got Kirk Cousins, like, you're just kind of stuck. And being stuck with Kirk Cousins, it could be way, way worse. He's very, very productive. In an offense that this guy's going to run, it's going to be a pretty seamless transition. Now, is Kevin O'Connell a good coach? I don't know. No clue. You know, I've followed his career as a player at San Diego State and then when he got drafted, but I have no clue. I know McVay likes him, and he's clearly a smart, high-level guy, but being a head coach in the NFL, we know how hard that is. But, man, I see all these people act like Cousins should be like a $5 million player, like he's Sam Bradford. Cousins has thrown more touchdowns in 4 years in Minnesota. And remember, he played 5 in Washington, 4 years in Minnesota. Sam Bradford did in his entire career. 20 more touchdowns. Kirk Cousins, Sam Bradford couldn't hold Kirk Cousins' jock. You'd be like, when healthy? Well, yeah, he's always hurt. Part of always being hurt, like Jadeveon Clowney, who's always injured, means he's kind of worthless. Part of being a productive player is being on the field and producing. That's part of the deal, you know? You got to play. They play these things called football games. They happen every Sunday. Some happen Thursday. Some happen Monday. And they don't happen very often, once a week. And I need you on the field to be worth the money. If you're going to play half the games, like you're not, whatever your salary I'm paying you, you're stealing from me. And you're not worth it. I don't care how productive you are in the games you're playing if you're not available. Availability, pretty big deal, right? Didn't Herm Edwards once say the best ability is availability? I don't think he was lying. So the Kirk Cousins slander, again, you act like I'm, diehard Kirk Cousins guy. I'm not. But I also think the reaction to how shitty he is just a little off base. Subscribe to the podcast, 3 and Out with me, John Middlekauff. Share it with your friends. Middlekauff mailbag at John Middlekauff. I'm going to need some Instagrams. Slide up into those Instagrams. I'm recording this Sunday night. We got a big Players Championship. I'm going to get up bright and early. Shane Lowry's my only ticket really left. John Rahm's been terrible. If Shane Lowry wins, just win $2,200, no big deal on a $50 bet. So let's root for Shane Lowry, and let's get ready for free agency, baby. It's gonna the free agency list kind of sucks, but the quarterback movement, there'll be some interesting thing happens, some trades, and I'll see you guys Tuesday. Thanks for watching 3 and Out. You can check out the podcast below in the description, and make sure you subscribe right now to the Volumes YouTube channel.